WWE banner fan, The Rock's WrestleMania plans revealed, just who owns AEW and more. I'm Luke Owen and this is the WrestleTalk News.
Support WrestleTalk!
Get exclusive bonus videos over at patreon.com/WrestleTalk.
Wrestling fans are curious creatures, viciously loyal, difficultly tribalistic, and, going by Twitter in the last year, super horny.
Yeah, baby, yeah!
But some of the worst ones have problems with respecting space. We've seen wrestlers recently call out fans for harassing them at airports for signatures and selfies, but I think this is a new one. PW Insider are reporting following Tuesday night's NXT, we are told that a male fan was allegedly caught trying to take photos of the feet of female talent as they made their way through the hotel and was ejected not once, but twice from the location. Look, I'm not here to kink shame. Whatever floats your boat, as long as you're not sinking anyone else's ship, but it's always the feet, guys, right? It's the twice bit that gets me. No, I got kicked out for taking photos of people's feet without their consent, but gosh darn, I'm so super horny, I'd better get back in there and give it another try. Boy, I hope that doesn't get clipped out of context. I'd better move on to super serious actual wrestling news.
Got your ass.
The Rock made his return to WWE back in January of 2024, doing, hands up who remembers this, an in-ring segment with Jinder Mahal about how much he loves America. Ripple effect stuff, but that segment led to Jinder Mahal getting a world title match, which Seth Rollins got injured in and nearly ruined all WrestleMania plans, which were already in flux because The Rock had come back. And also, Tony Khan got really upset about it on Twitter. His bigger impact, The Rock that is, was in the lead up to WrestleMania. When he became part of the TKO board of directors, he wanted to insert himself into the WrestleMania main event against Roman Reigns for the WWE Championship, where, reports said at the time, Rock was pushing to win the title. He had Cody step aside for him on an episode of SmackDown, which prompted the now fabled "We Want Cody" movement, and that got him back his WrestleMania main event, and crucially, turned The Rock heel and into the excellent final boss character. Rock left WWE following WrestleMania, but reports said he would be back in the latter part of the year in the lead up to Survivor Series, and true enough, The Rock made his return at Bad Blood to stare down Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns. Reports say that the WrestleMania 41 main event isn't set in stone yet, with some saying that it could be Cody versus Roman in a rematch for the WWE Championship, their third Mania main event in as many years, or a Cody versus Rock match for both Cody's WWE title and The Rock's People's Championship. Or have both. At the end of Bad Blood, The Rock held up 3 fingers before doing the throat slit taunt from a WWE video game, and our own Ollie Davis, who also called The Rock's return at Bad Blood before reports of it happening surfaced, has only gone and done it again by predicting that this could have meant a triple threat at WrestleMania. And according to WrestleVote, that could be the plan. They said on their Backstage Pass Q&A show, Rock versus Roman versus Cody at WrestleMania 41 is on the table. It's just not the head of it yet. They add, I doubt it's been finalized, but the idea has been floated, and I think it makes the most sense for the company to get those 3 guys in the ring. What would you like to see as the main event of WrestleMania 41? Let me know in the comments down below. We are 1 week removed from the massive news that AEW secured a huge TV deal from Warner Bros. Discovery, which means the company will be with us for the next few years at the very least, and has become the second most profitable wrestling company in history. An incredible feat for a company that is only 5 years old. That deal, which is now more or less confirmed as $185 million per year, Variety updated their article to back that up, and AEW's Chris Jericho used that number on Busted Open Radio, did potentially come with a caveat. In their report of the news, Sports Business Journal wrote WBD also keeps its equity stake in AEW, but the size of it was not disclosed, i.e. WBD own a portion of AEW. This has been a long-standing rumor that when AEW signed a deal with Warner back in 2019, they also got a stake in the company, but nothing has ever been confirmed. The topic of who really owns AEW has been a big one amongst the company's bigger detractors. Eric Bischoff recently got fooled by a fake report claiming to be from WrestleNomics that the Wrestling Observer's Dave Meltzer owned a portion of the company. For what it's worth, Fightful Select reported in response to Sports Business Journal's claim neither AEW nor WBD have confirmed this. Beyond that, PR contacts at both companies even noted they'd never heard of that aspect of WBD having equity in AEW. And Fightful's Sean Rossap followed up on this during the WrestleDream media call with Tony Khan. Khan replied, "I will not get into our ownership structure beyond saying I have 100% of the voting stock in this company and have since the beginning and hold the vast majority of shares." He added, "I am the controlling owner with 100% voting control of the business." Interestingly, this topic was brought to light in the lawsuit filed by Kevin Kelly, Brandon, and Brendan Tate a few months ago. In AEW's disclosure filing, it noted that no publicly held corporation owns 10% or more of its stock. WBD are a publicly traded company. And Brandon Thurston of WrestleNomics, usually the smartest man in any room he walks into, said speaking on the subject, whatever minority stake WBD owns, if they do, would be less than 10%. He did add it makes sense for WBD to have a stake in the business, so interests are aligned. In sadder news for All Elite Wrestling, there has been an update on Luchasaurus following the news late last month that he'd been admitted to hospital when his fiancée found him collapsed at home. It was reported that his oxygen levels were below 80% and that he'd contracted pneumonia. The bright news was that he should be back training within a month, but according to Brian Alvarez on Wrestling Observer Live, there have been some setbacks. Alvarez said he is not back in the gym and will not be back in the gym for a while, and he's not going to be back wrestling probably for a while. Alvarez added, however, that there was hope that he would be able to train again at some point. Alvarez noted that there were some complications and Luchasaurus might have had a compromised immune system. He said apparently he's at high risk for relapse is what I was told. The big concern is that after all of this, they've been running test after test and apparently there may be permanent damage. Alvarez noted that while Luchasaurus is at home, he still has to use an oxygen tank after normal daily routines which leave him out of breath. Alvarez sadly added, "I don't want to say it's a career-ending issue, but it could be a career-ending issue." Our best wishes go out to Luchasaurus and his loved ones at this time. Please send your well wishes in the comments and directly to him on social media. But hang on, it's a Thursday episode of the WrestleTalk News and I'm not reviewing Dynamite. Well, that's because this week's show was preempted by Sports Balls on TBS. It meant that AEW Dynamite was not on its usual day and was in a slightly different time slot. The show was also hit by the news that Britt Baker, who was scheduled to face Willow Nightingale in a #1 contenders match for WrestleDream, fell ill and couldn't make the show. Nightingale instead faced Saraya, Nyla Rose and Jamie Hayter in a four-way, which she won. And Fightful Select are reporting it wasn't just the illness that affected the show's plans. They report, we're told AEW and Tony Khan had been working around the clock for the last couple of weeks across various shows due to the implications and travel changes from the hurricanes that drastically affected their plans. They add, we're told there were many talent missing shows and last-minute changes that the company needed to work around over the last 2 weeks. And that might explain why I thought the show was just broadly fine this week, although Fightful Select reported that AEW were very happy with this week's episode. I can't imagine they were happy with the rating, however. Going up against big sports and a stacked NXT with main roster stars, title changes and debuts, AEW drew its lowest viewership in history with just 329,000 viewers. It also had its lowest 18 to 49 demo number with just a 0.10. While it could be argued it was on a different night and in a 1 hour different time slot, last year's titled Tuesday edition of Dynamite, which also went up against a stacked NXT with main roster stars, did 609,000 viewers with a 0.26. In writing about the figures on Twitter, Dave Meltzer noted, it's very clear at this point AEW's audience, unlike 2 years ago, is choosing WWE and they have less of an exclusive audience than before. NXT held steady on their new home of the CW, the show which featured Randy Orton, Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill, Jey Uso, Grayson Waller and Austin Theory, as well as title changes and the debut of Stephanie Vaquer, drew 874,000 viewers, only 2.4% down from their debut episode. Orton wrestled in the main event of the show, which featured an unfortunate mistiming of an RKO reversal, which was supposed to see Randy catch Javon Evans' corkscrew out of nowhere. Both men just sort of fell down, and the closing of the show saw Randy Orton pick Evans back up and say, "Oh, it's alright," because you could see that Evans was apologizing for the spot. This is a very different Orton to the stupid era. Fightful Select report Javon Evans and Randy Orton rehearsed their spot extensively prior to the show and add there is no heat on Evans for mistiming the spot. You can check out my reviews of both NXT and AEW Dynamite on yesterday's WrestleTalk news. They both went down very well in the comments, with a report there's also some frustrations over the booking of women on Monday Night Raw.